What's up, guys? It's your boy McCarley330 here, and welcome to the very first edition of McCarley's Play of the Week. So with this series, what we're going to do is each week we're going to take a look at one play alternating between offense and defense, and I'm going to break that play down and show you some setups that I like to use that I think will make a pretty big impact in your game, and it's something you can use to help make yourself better or make a big splash when you need it. No matter what you play in Madden, whether you play offline, online, whether you play Madden Ultimate Team, or maybe you just play regular head-to-head, maybe you play franchise mode. Whatever it is you play, this play will help you. So we're going to go ahead and break it down for you, and we're going to start today with one of my favorite plays from Madden 19 that also works in Madden 20. The play is called PA Boot Over. It's found in the Oakland Raiders playbook in the formation bunch tight end out of shotgun. So the base play looks like this. You have your inside receiver in the bunch, which is Odell Beckham Jr. for us. He's running a deep drag. You have a deep crosser by Callaway in the slot, and then your outside receiver, you have Jarvis Landry running a deep post. You have David Njoku running a check and release, and then your running back will block once the play action is complete. So the first thing that I like to do is I actually block my running back. This cancels the play action and sends him immediately into a blocking assignment. And I do that because I feel like with the pass rush, especially the way it is in Madden 20, it's pretty fierce, which isn't a bad thing, but you know, pass rushes can come in quick. So the extra blocker will help. Plus, he's going to end up blocking anyway after the play action, and canceling the play action can allow you to get into your read a lot faster. Also, some blitzes are more effective when run against play action. So I block the running back primarily. Now, that being said, this play will work if you want to leave the play action in. And if I'm facing an opponent where I'm running the ball really well, or I just feel like he is worried about the run, I will leave the play action in, because with play action you can, maybe make him make a mistake with his user and get him out of position as well. So there are benefits to leaving the play action in. For the purposes of right now, I'm going to cancel it by blocking the running back. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take David Njoku, the tight end here, and put him on a streak. And what this is going to do is it's going to run off that deep safety that's lined up on the outside of the right hash. Is going to run him off because he has to keep the deepest threat on this play in front of him. So no matter how deep that Njoku runs his route, the safety is going to have to go further. So that's the goal here, because we want to open up our passing window, which I'll get to in a second. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take Odell Beckham Jr. and put him on a regular drag, because he's going to serve as my check down on this play. Check downs are very important because you should always have somewhere to go with the ball if your primary route is not open for whatever reason. Alright, so Odell Beckham serves as that check down. He's also going to be responsible for pulling down the nickel corner, or the outside corner, I'm sorry, which is Denzel Ward here, because he's in a cloud flat responsibility in this play, and most corners will be in a cloud flat responsibility. So he has to respond to any kind of flat threat, which is going to be OBJ once he crosses the formation. So we got OBJ to take care of Denzel Ward. We have Njoku to take care of the safety. So the next thing that I want to talk about is how we're running this play against a standard cover 2 defense that you can find in nickel normal. So you have this player here who's in a middle read. Now what a mid read is usually responsible for in a play like this is to stop any kind of in route over the middle of the field and that kind of thing. He jumps down on in routes or curl routes, stuff like that. Anything that's a threat over the middle, that's this guy's responsibility here. So what most Madden players will do is actually take this player and put him in a deep third to take away any potential deep posts or maybe a vertical route up the seam, because when playing cover 2, it's important to remember that cover 2 is a middle of the field open concept, which means that a stock cover 2 can be beaten by a deep post or like a vertical route up the seam, something that exploits the gap in the middle that's going to be left by the 2 safeties branching out because they're responsible for covering a deep half of the field, and then the middle linebacker who would normally be in a middle read having to stay down on any potential curl routes or in routes, things like that. So that would open up a huge gap between those players. So a lot of Madden players will go ahead and put their linebacker in a middle third in order to take that away. So that is also going to help open up our passing lane. So I'm going to go ahead and spy a couple of defensive tackles here just so I can make sure I have the time to throw this ball, because I'm going to show you how we finish this route here. So now that we have our tight end on a streak, we got Odell Beckham on our drag, we're going to take Jarvis Landry, we're going to put him on an in route. And then we're going to take that in route and we're going to smart route it. So for those of you that don't know how to do that, you press the hot route option, which is triangle on your PlayStation controller, or Y if you're playing Xbox. And then you're going to pick your receiver icon. In this case, I want Jarvis Landry. And then you'll see your options here on the screen. Smart route, what that's going to do is it's going to make him run to the first down marker when we're talking about an in route or an out route. He's going to run that route to the first down marker and then make his cut. So that being said, the best ideal situation for this in route is to keep it between 8 and 12 yards. So if you're facing 2nd and 8, 3rd and 12, maybe it's 1st and 10, maybe it's 2nd and 10, whatever. That's when it's a good idea to go to this route combo, because if you get into the situations where it's 2nd and 14, 3rd and 18, something like that, and you try to run this in route, it's going to be a really deep route, and it's going to get in the way of Antonio Callaway, who is our primary receiver on this play. So we don't want that. So I just recommend keeping the in route between 8 to 12 yards for the best results. Also here, you can see I have my bunch to the short side of the field. This play does work either way, whether you have your bunch on the short or wide side of the field. The reason I have it on the short side of the field is actually there are a couple of reasons. One is it gives him the most room to cross over the field and get in as much open space as possible. The other reason is there are setups for this play where you can motion this receiver across. And if you motion him across, that's gonna give him this funky looking route here, this little deep, it's kind of like a reverse slant sort of thing. So you can use that as well. I'm not going to cover that today. That might be a future video, but there are setups that make that play work pretty well. So what we're going to do here is just run it like this. All right, so we got our standard cover 2 that you're going to face if you play online Madden. All right, so I'm going to show you how Callaway gets open here. And we're looking for our triangle receiver here, Antonio Callaway. So here we go. Go ahead and snap the ball, wait for the route to develop. He's open, we fire it, and there's a nice clean pocket for us to throw that ball into. He's wide open. We're going to show you on the replay here why these route combos are so important. So first we're going to look at Njoku on this play. He's the one running our streak. He's responsible for clearing out the safeties, right? So we snap the ball, he takes off. Immediately the linebacker and both safeties realize, okay, this is the deepest threat on this play. We have to keep him in front of us. All right, so they do a pretty good job of that. Njoku clearly has run these players out of the play. All right, so he did his job. Safeties are gone. Now we look over here at Odell Beckham. Remember, he's running our drag route across the formation here. So as he comes across, you see he's passed off here. And then as he comes over here, Denzel Ward sees, hey, this guy's coming over to my area in the flat. I need to get down there. So he comes down here to make a play on OBJ. But that leaves Callaway, who's running our deep cross. As soon as he gets past the redirect of the vert hook, nobody else really picks him up. He just kind of runs off on his own. There's this wide open window to throw in, and by the time everyone realizes, hey, there's a guy wide open, it's clearly too late, and you get a nice big gain on that play. So that's why those route combos are so important and why they play such a big role in this play working. All right. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is what happens when the opponent decides to take that route away from you because they're just sick of getting beat by it. So you know what? I'm going to user that route. I'm going to go ahead and take my user. If you play online Madden, the most common player that your opponent will user is this player here, the left outside linebacker, your right of screen linebacker. Myself personally, I also user this player most often. So this is probably going to be your opponent's user. And since I don't have 4 hands, the way I'm going to simulate a route being used is I'm going to go ahead and man this player up. I'm just going to use the man-to-man coverage function here and man up our deep crosser, effectively taking him out of the play. At least that's how we're going to play it off anyway. Schobert doesn't have the best man-to-man coverage, so it's still possible that the receiver will get open. But we're going to ignore that for now, assuming he's just being usered. So, going to set up the offense the same way. This is where you have to be ready to take a check down, okay? Because the nickel corner is playing the vert hook, he's got pretty good man coverage ratings. So, it's going to be tougher to get this in route open. And the deep crosser we already know is not going to be there, all right? So, we're going to go ahead and snap the ball. We're looking for OBJ to get open as our check down. Look how open he is. By the time Denzel Ward realizes he's open, look how much room we have to work with. So taking a check down in this situation, especially if you have a playmaker like OBJ, is not the worst thing in the world. Okay, so I'm gonna show you this again, and we're gonna go ahead and man up. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna man him up, and I'm gonna leave the pass rush alone so you guys can get a feel of how this really works when the pass rush does come in. So this is our setup for cover 2. We're gonna set up the offense the same way. got your streak, blocking the running back here, put a drag on OBJ, go ahead and smart route Jarvis Landry there. So offense is set, and here we go. We're looking for OBJ, and see, I mean, you can do this all day. You know, I can do this all day. The only way to stop that is going to be to put a hard flat on the field. You know, if they put a hard flat down there, that's going to take that away. But again, that's going to help open up the in on the other side. So it's really tough to defend all those routes at once. So that's why this play is so good and why it works against so many defenses. I'm going to show you this play now against cover 3. So a lot of Madden players, when they play cover 3, the first thing they do is they deep half their corners to stop cover 3 bombs, and then they're going to shade their coverage to their secondary to be in cloud flats to take away corner routes and things like that. Other things that can get open against cover 3, because cover 3 by definition is a middle of the field closed concept, which usually means that, you know, the sidelines are more able to be thrown to. You can work things in like corner routes and out routes and stuff like that, because there's only one safety and he's responsible for the entire middle of the field, and then the outside corners run outside thirds. But if you run streaks and then corners, you know, it makes it tough for the corners to play that. That's why most Madden players will go ahead and set up something similar to this, where they use deep halves and then they leave the safety in the middle third. So it's kind of similar to cover 2, basically, in terms of the secondary coverage. And then they have their 2 hook curls in the middle to play routes over the middle of the field. But I'm going to show you why that's actually not going to matter against this setup. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and set it up just the same. I'm going to go block the running back here. Again, we're on the short side of the field. Again, I'm going to spy some pass rush here. Again, I want to reiterate that this is not something I recommend running every down. This isn't a setup you should go to all the time. It's something you should mix in and try to sneak in on your opponent. Because of how fierce the pass rush is, you're just not going to have time to make this throw all the time. So we're going to go ahead and snap the ball here. Same setup against cover 3 this time. And we're going to snap the ball here and wait for the same result. There you see, I mean, Callaway just gets absolutely naked down the once he crosses over the right side of the field. So, and this can work the same way. This against cover 3, this is where that in route to Jarvis Landry has potential to get open. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to man up the user linebacker on Antonio Callaway to take away the crosser, because our opponent is just sick of getting absolutely torched by it. So he's like, you know what, I'm going to take that route. That route's my responsibility. And we're going to set the play up just the same. And this time, we're going to see if we can get Jarvis Landry open on the in route. So we snap the ball here, and we're just kind of waiting here. Waiting for Jarvis to run his route. There he is. I mean, he's wide open. If you can get the time, Jarvis Landry is going to be open. Now, that was a long drop back, right? So I had about 4 or 5 seconds there to let that play develop. You're not always going to have that. But rest assured, if they do use your primary route, that there are other options to get this play moving. Now, again, the drag route is always there if you need a check down. But I just want to reiterate that this play does work against cover 3, cover 2, and I'm going to show you cover 4 here in just a second. I'm going to run this one more time against cover 3. All right, so again, same setup. Let me snap the ball here against cover 3 again, and waiting for Jarvis. There's Jarvis. He's open. I mean, it's GG from there. And again, you saw Odell was open as well on the drag. So even if you don't have that kind of time, let's go and take a look at that replay and show you how open Odell was as well as far as the check down goes. So we snap the ball here, and Odell runs across this. I mean, there's this huge window to throw the ball into. Again, these spies normally won't be there, right? So I know these guys are in the way right now, but think of this as just open space. From the time the ball is snapped until Denzel Ward comes down late, I mean, Odell Beckham is open for days. So you have plenty of options on this play against cover 3. We're going to go ahead and show you this play against cover 4 quarters. Cover 4 quarters is it's essentially man match coverage. So if you don't know exactly what cover 4 quarters is or how it's played, I will link a video in this description to a guy in the Madden community who does great breakdowns on understanding defenses. His name is Kia. He's very, very intelligent and knows what he's talking about when it comes to rules of coverage and things like that. But I'll give you kind of a quick synopsis for you. It's pretty much man-match coverage. There's communication between the two safeties and the two corners. In this case, our two outside corners and the two deep safeties. The nickel corner is responsible for flat threats and will match anything out of the backfield that goes up the sideline. So I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like a standard spot drop cover 4, but it is not. It is man coverage. So that everyone you see in a deep quarter zone is responsible for man-to-man coverage on the wide receivers, and the quarter flat zones that you see there are responsible for matching anything coming out of the flat area. So any kind of wheel up the sideline from the backfield, that sort of thing, will be taken by those quarter flat players. But we're gonna go ahead and set the play up just the same. So we're gonna go with the same setup this time against cover 4. I'm going to leave the pass rush alone as well, so you can guys get an idea of what it looks like against a 4-man rush trying to run this play. So I'm going to go ahead and snap the ball. This is against cover 4 quarters. Same setup, though. Nothing's changed. So we're going to go ahead and snap the ball here. And again, we're looking for Callaway, and look how open he is against quarters. I mean, this is all day, guys. This is all day. All right, this is all day. Especially you get a good receiver. You know, a faster receiver with better route running and things like that, it's going to be really tough for your opponents to defend, especially in, you know, regular head-to-head or franchise mode, that sort of thing, where you're playing against teams that don't have great secondaries and things like that. It's just, you know, it's just such a good play. I mean, I could do this all day against quarters. This crosser, when it comes to playing quarters, is a route that's going to have to be used. There's going to be no other way to stop it unless your opponent uses this route, or, you know, they send a blitz to stop you before it gets open. But in the event that they don't, you know, you can just sit here, drop back, and find Antonio Callaway all day. So that's how you run that play against 3 of the most common defenses that you're going to face. In Madden 20, you're going to face a lot of cover 2, a lot of cover 3, and a lot of match quarters, I think. So that's how that's going to work for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy this video, if you like the content, make sure you like and subscribe. I'm going to be uploading these videos every week. Next week, we're going to be doing a defensive play. I have a few in mind. I haven't decided what I want to do yet in terms of which play I'm going to do. But it will be a defensive play next week, and then the week after that, we'll be back to doing offense. I'm going to do this every week. We're going to alternate between offense and defense. So I hope you guys like this video. I'm trying to make this a regular thing where I upload videos every week. So this is just the first of many Madden 20 videos, I hope. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, this is McCarley's Play of the Week. We'll be back next week with a defensive play. So until then, keep slinging dots and keep having fun. Everyone enjoy Madden 20, and I will see you guys next week.